This is Amateur Logic, episode 95 for September 15th, 2016. This episode of Amateur Logic was brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com. And by ICOM. September is National Preparedness Month. Take action and prepare now. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
I'm Peter.
I'm Emile.
And we have, as always, a great show lined up for you tonight.
We never have anything otherwise.
Let me just say, this one is going to be out of this world.
All right.
And nobody knows why I'm saying that except Emile. He's kind of
laughing,
shaking his head over there.
That kind of worries me when he's laughing behind my back there.
Well, great to be back. We got a lot going on tonight. I do want to mention anytime we're doing a show and now we actually stream them live while we're shooting them.
Yep.
It's usually a pretty bumpy ride and a lot gets edited out, but it's there nonetheless. And
bumpy's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. Enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
We'll just put it that way. Anytime we're doing that, though, we've got a chat room going, AmateurLogic.TV/chat. Good group of folks over in there right now throwing food and creating a general uproar.
Yeah.
But,
just minor havoc.
Yep. That keeps us going, though.
Yeah. And I see some people from across the room in the YouTube chat, and we can't really monitor that while we're on the air. So if you're over there, come join the other chat that you see the URL on the screen for now, so you can kind of participate with the rest of the gang.
Yep. I hear children outside there, and those aren't mine. Mine are a little bit older than that now.
They don't scream like that anymore?
Not usually. We got this stuff sitting here that's in the way, Tommy.
Yeah. I need to take this onto the house and get it off the table here. Get it out of the way.
We're coming up on the 11th anniversary here. And let's see, that's next month.
Wow, man. 11th anniversary.
11th anniversary.
That's amazing.
We were watching episodes 6 and 7 tonight before we actually started shooting this show. We looked a lot different back then.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a minor understatement.
Yeah. That's back when you looked like Chuck Norris and I looked more like George Clooney.
Yeah, that was a long time back.
That was even before Peter was with us.
Yeah.
That's
why Jimmy was still with us.
Yeah, I don't remember those episodes.
You'll have to go back and review, Emile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Get you a magazine and hold it up and compare. You'll be able to see the resemblance, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. A magazine?
Yeah, for the George Clooney pictures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think that's what he was talking about.
That is. Well, sort of. Maybe. Anyway, we were talking about this stuff right here. We've got stuff to give away. It's 11th anniversary. We've got an IC-7300, one of the AmateurLogic Field Day radios.
Yep. It's been tried and lightly tested.
Lightly tested. Good results. We've got all the stuff to go with it from MFJ, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great prize for somebody.
It is. It really is. We appreciate them, both companies, ICOM and MFJ, for supporting this contest and supporting Amateur Logic. Couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. Good chance we wouldn't be here for this 11th year.
It is true. Yep. Well, we were recently at Huntsville. We didn't see you over there, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, my work schedule kind of interfered with me going.
Yeah. Peter, we didn't see you over there either.
Well,
work
it's
schedule
no
too?
matter of it being on the other side of the world. And, unfortunately, I'm not really financed to go bouncing around the world every year, so I have to pass on that.
Well, we did see a lot of friends over there. Emile was one of them. We've got just a little clip of that. No.
Yeah, I'm looking
Coming up
forward
in
to
a
seeing
minute.
that. I really hate I missed it this year, but count on me being there next year.
All right.
I've already got it penciled in on the calendar.
All right. Well, I met a lot of great folks there. I got a few photos here.
Oh, cool.
Let's take a look at a few of these. Look, he's wearing the colors, Tommy.
Oh, that is a sharp-dressed fellow right there.
That's Kevin, K4IVE. He may even be in the chat room right now. I think he had threatened.
Yeah, he's in there.
threatened to be in there. He is in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay, that's Kevin we talked to on EchoLink sometime.
Yeah. Hi,
Okay.
Kevin. We met over at Huntsville, and you can see I had on the wrong colors for this show that
Yeah,
day.
what's up with that?
Well, everything was looking a little blurry to me that day, even my call sign, you know.
Yeah, I see that.
But
You must have been moving pretty fast.
it was, yep. Anyway, it was good to see Kevin there. I also saw an old friend. He wasn't wearing the colors, but this is a guy I met years ago on the air on 80 meters. We used to talk a lot at night. This is Ken, N4ZED. And I did have the colors on. You see how quick I changed shirts there?
Yeah, you caught that. What'd you do, run into the phone booth and switch out real fast?
I could have been. Could have been. Anyway, it was good to see Ken there. We had never met before. It was our first time to meet in person. So,
Cool.
great to see him, which is, happens at a lot of Hamfest. You meet folks that
Oh,
you never really, you've talked to them before, but you've never met them in person.
well, that's the gear and stuff. That's great stuff. But really meeting some of the people you talk to and putting a face to them, that's the fun part to
Yep.
me.
Here's another one right here. This is John, and he's got the colors on.
He does.
KK4WZ. He might have, was he in the chat room? No, it's not WZ. It's KK4VVZ. And yeah, John is in the chat room there. So,
All right.
yeah, it was great to see you there. And
Looking good, John.
styling and
Yeah.
profiling. I got one more guy here, Tommy. This one, he was kind of disappointed that you did not show up for the Huntsville Ham Fest.
As was I.
He was really looking for you because he had to show off something new that he had,
Okay.
and that's Arnie.
Arnie,
And
looking
look.
good. Looking good, man.
Yeah.
You have never looked better.
The official N5 Z&O
Goatee.
goatee. Yeah,
Yep. Looking good, Arnie.
yeah,
He's probably in the chat room too. It's
Yeah.
a good chance he's in there. He usually is.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate I missed you guys. So next
Yeah.
year.
Next year. Well, that's not the only people I saw there. I saw a lot of other folks, but those are some that we just happened to have a camera handy and snapped a few shots of.
Yeah.
And, it's always great to see folks wearing AmateurLogic swag.
And the goatees.
And the goatees, yeah. Yeah. I don't do that.
You should
and
try it.
It didn't really work out last time I did.
You
so,
didn't?
No. So I kind of stay away from that. But I haven't stayed away from the emails, and we've got a few here tonight. I'll take this first one here, Tommy.
Okay.
And this one, who does this one come from? It's Dave, K8TN, and he says, George, what do you use for surface mount soldering? Well, Dave, I've used different things. What I use most of the time is a hot air rework station. I should have had a picture here for that. I don't, but I use one that I got from MCM Electronics. It's a Tenma brand. You can find them on sale for around $59. I've actually used a hot air embossing tool before. Worked virtually just about as well. Just can't control the temperature quite as good. You can find those for around $20 at Hobby Lobby and places like that. You can do it in an oven, although I have never used that method. And I've also bought a tiny tip for my soldering iron, and I've used my soldering station before to do it, and that worked out okay. It's a little more difficult on some things.
Yeah. What do you gotta have? You gotta have some kind of accessory to stabilize your hand too, right?
You do. And if you go back and review your episodes, you'll see where I've done some of those
I
things.
just couldn't even imagine.
It's yeah, it's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, on the point of surface mount soldering, I've had an idea that might actually solve part of or get over some of the difficulty with surface mount. And that is, have you ever tried putting a little bit of blue tack on the end of the resistor or the capacitor or whatever, and then just to hold it in place?
Some folks have done that. I've seen that mentioned
so it
before.
won't slide.
Yeah, some folks will super glue them down to the board. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't done either one of those.
Extreme.
Tommy, I know you've got an email there, but we're about to forget something. We were talking about the Huntsville Hamfest earlier. You know, I didn't get a lot of video from there this year. I'd planned to. We got a little bit of stuff shot there. But right after lunch on Saturday, I got a call from the radio station. And I've got 6 stations here in Jackson. All 6 of them were off the air.
Oh.
We've got a T1 that feeds audio over to a common tower that sends the audio out to all the other stations. And T1 got cut. Copper thieves went in there and tore up 2 of the pedestals right on the side of the street on a Saturday afternoon. Took the T1 out. And so I ended up spending most of Saturday afternoon on the telephone talking to guys back here in Jackson through how to get something set up temporarily to get the stations back on.
Oh, wow.
So I really didn't get to shoot as much video as I wanted to. And then I got back home Sunday night. They had repaired it temporarily. They had just run a piece of cable across the street over to the building.
Yeah, that sounds very temporary.
That does sound very temporary. As a matter of fact, Tuesday, the city decided to pave that street. So by the time they had run over that wire a few times with the steamroller, it was history. And we were off the air again.
Wow.
So now I've got a better backup in place for that.
Cool.
But I saw another friend there that we saw last year. You remember our friend Cincinnati Short Rib?
Yeah, Chris.
His whole family was there.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn, his father, brought me a present here.
Yeah, after being
from Cincinnati.
Nice.
After Mike, sent us all the Canadian stuff, and because Peter had sent us Australian stuff.
So now you got some from the country of Cincinnati?
Now we got something, from the country of Cincinnati.
Awesome.
And this is, let's see, what does it say it is? Brewmaster's Choice. Create your own beer sampler. And I guess they say that because none of them are the same in here. Now let me just say right now, this was a matched set.
Oh, yeah?
But Wayne and Vince, they were riding with me on the way back.
Oh, so you just taste tested
a couple of them are missing here, but
I thought maybe you may have got into it on the first and the last of your phone call you were just telling me about.
Here you go. Look at those. Let's see.
India Pale Ale.
India? Here, show it to the camera.
Christian Moorland. Never heard of it. Look, it's transparent.
It is.
You can almost see Peter through it.
Yeah. It's actually green, but
yeah, well, that's not helping. Here, yeah.
There you go. Boy, it's green screen.
It's very, very green.
It's an IPA.
Yep.
You got another one there.
India Pale Ale. I only recently knew what that meant.
Here, let's look at one of mine here. This is, boy, this one's almost transparent too.
So, yeah.
This one is Mad Tree Brewing Company. Psychotherapy India Pale Ale. This could come in handy after the show.
Yeah. India Pale Ale.
No, it's not psychotherapy, it's psychopathy. Psychopathy. Okay.
Well, if that was psychotherapy, I'd probably take that one.
You got another one there.
I got Rheingeist. It's like African animal.
In German, all mixed in one, huh?
The spirit of an African animal. It's a Rheingeist.
Rheingeist, Cincy made.
Yeah, Cougar Blonde Ale. Interesting. That's. I've never seen any of these before. I'm not really a beer connoisseur. I barely drink anything at all, but it's kind of neat.
Well, I've got one more here, and this one, Christian Moorline. Moreland?
Yeah, the same brand
the
as the
Rhine?
green one here.
Yep. OTR, on the Rhine. So
Over the Rhine.
I have never seen any of these
Interesting.
brews before. Now, there's one interesting note here.
What was in the 2 vacant slots?
You know, I don't know what it is, but it was probably the best 2 that were in there, and Vince and Wayne picked them out. 5.8%.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's stout.
yeah, I think it is. Anyway, which were you going to try, Tommy?
I don't know. The green one looks the most interesting on camera.
Well, it does, and it looks less filling, too.
It does. This is very light.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Well, whichever you want, man. I don't know. Over the Rhine? Is that like a watermelon rind, or what do you think they mean there?
Possibly. The color kind of makes me think of it.
Yeah. I think I'll try it.
Okay.
Although the psychopathy, I don't know, that sounds interesting too, but
I'll call that psychotherapy. I would probably try that one.
all
I need
right.
some psychotherapy.
Well, here you go. It looks less filling as
Yeah,
well.
there you go. I'm going for the Rheingeist. It's almost Halloween time.
Yeah.
This is going to turn into a food show before you know it. Wow, I saw that.
That is unlike any beer I have ever tasted.
Did you see that double take?
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say about that.
Mine tastes like beer.
Embrace the madness. If I bought a 6-pack of this, I would be pretty bad.
He started acting kind of weird over there, man. The madness.
I don't know. This one tastes like it would go good with Vegemite or Marmite.
Yeah. We probably got some of that still stuck around here somewhere. Want to make you a big old sandwich of it to go with it?
I don't know. At least I could wash it down. Oh, there you go. Boy, Peter's got a giant size.
Golly, that's the jumbo
jar there.
size.
Oh, Ozzy.
What is that? What's the difference?
He'll tell us about it in a little bit.
When we get to my email,
Okay.
I'll explain.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, fair enough.
All right. Well, back to the emails. And tell me, I don't think I'm going to be able to drink this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jocelyn, but boy, I don't even know what to make of that. Anyway,
Mine kind of tastes like regular Budweiser back when I used to drink it.
this one doesn't. I would, for some reason, cold cream comes to mind. You know, it's not my favorite flavor for beer.
Yeah, try the watermelon one.
Yeah, we'll try it in a minute. All right, so you got an email there for us?
I do. I got one. Oh, speaking of down under, this is from our friend Dex, ZL2DEX.
That's the other down under, right?
The other down, that's way down under. That's farther than Peter.
Yeah.
Just a little bit down south of him. It said, hi Tommy and George. Your experience with Peter's earlier gift may have given you a bum steer. So Google Tonight Show Jackman to see Hugh Jackman demonstrate live how to do the Vegemite thing properly. His dosage level would be right for the beginner, but the customized aficionado will go to the full level teaspoon or greater on a whole slice. Also, check Wikipedia for the Vegemite story and history. Quite some controversy there. So I did Google it, and I found the video and I watched it.
I watched the video too.
Yeah, their mileage varied a lot different than ours. So
Yeah.
he actually liked it. But who would have ever figured, actually I answered back to Dex and I told him that who would figure Jimmy Fallon would try to copycat one of our segments.
You just never know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, but surely I know he didn't copycat it, but it was close.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Thanks for the email, Dex.
yeah, thanks for the email. Tell you what, I've got a little clip here, one of the very few that I shot in Huntsville.
Okay.
And this just happens to have, Somebody that just could be hanging around here on a TV set tonight.
Who could it be?
Cheap.
Yeah. You know, we met Peter for the first time ever last year in person.
Uh-huh.
Well, I met somebody else for the first time ever live in person this year. Well, Vince, we made it.
Yeah, we
We
did.
already
This is
knew
not
Vince.
him. Yeah, we
Another
knew him.
Huntsville Ham Fest. Looking forward to a big one here. Somewhere here is KG5RE Wayne. He's taking a test this morning, isn't he?
He is. He's taking his extra class, and he should be taking it pretty shortly here.
And you just took yours.
I did.
Not today, but recently.
Yeah, I took it about a week and a half ago at my local club.
And aced it.
Supposedly, yes, I aced it.
Well, congratulations. There's also another guy in here. That cheap old man is in here somewhere, and I'm sure he's beating up somebody on price on something.
Yep, he's here. I've seen him. I couldn't catch up to him, but he's here.
Well, let's see if we can hunt him down. He ought to be easy enough to find.
I think so. We'll just look for dropping prices.
Well, Tommy didn't come this year, and neither did Peter, but look who we found. It's the cheap old man. Hi, Emile.
How you doing, George?
First visit to Huntsville?
First visit to Huntsville and this Ham Fest, and I gotta say, wow, this is on a different scale than what I'm used to.
It is. This is a really nice ham fest. There's some cheap stuff in there now. I know because I've seen it, but I don't see you carrying anything yet. Have you got a game plan?
I got a game plan. In fact, there's at least 4 or 5 devices in there right now that I'm watching. Not too many people are touching it, so I've got a plan to wait them out, smoke them out maybe tomorrow, and see if those prices come down a little bit.
Okay. So what do you think about? I know you were looking at the TNCs pretty hard, and now $15 or $20. I'm thinking that's a pretty good price. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I mean, that is a pretty good price, but the cheap old man has standards. If it's above 0, I mean, I got to wait it out.
It's kind of in your contract, huh?
It is. It's a requirement and a performance contract, yes.
Well, how was your trip over here? We both came from generally the same direction to get here, but we were, I don't know, an hour and a half ahead of you, so we really didn't get to talk on the radio.
Yeah, the trip was good. I was able to make some HF contacts in the car, a couple of special event stations and NPOTA contacts on 20 meters. That's pretty much all I have in the cheap old man mobile. But it was wet coming up here, a lot of squalls and slowdowns, but to be expected, I guess, around this time in this heat.
Same for us. It seemed like every 5 minutes we were in a new rainstorm, but we got through it all and got over here. And you've been on the show now for a while, and you and I have talked on the radio for a good number of years, but we never met in person till here.
That's right. There's a first for everything, and first Ham Fest, first to meet you guys in person, which is awesome. So thanks for the show. I gotta hand it to you. It's been a ride ever since I started. Actually, since I became a ham. But when I saw you guys show, it was just something about it that caught my eye. So I figured, let me throw my hat in the ring and start submitting some segments.
Well, you know, you really bring a certain value to the show with your content, Emile.
Certain cheapness. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
You kind of add a certain realism to it.
Yeah, I do like finding, if you will, I guess, abstract ideas, putting them together, and seeing how cheaply I can get away with doing that.
Yeah. The pool noodle thing, though, that got me. First time I watched it, I was not paying attention. I said, wait a minute now. He's using a pool noodle for an antenna?
No, they're not. They don't make very good resonators.
No, I didn't think so.
But it was, for me at the time, for field day, it was coming up, and I figured, let me try to get something that's going to help me put one of my disc cone mounts that was too big for the top section of that MFJ telescoping pole. So I said, gee, I wonder what else has that diameter or inner diameter, and I sure enough, the pool's sitting right there, so I grab a pool noodle, just put it over the top of it, and it worked great.
And as a bonus, it's a fun kid's toy too, isn't it?
It is. It is. I think I might have maybe made one of my kids mad taking that pool noodle away, but oh well.
Yeah.
They're cheap.
Well, let's look around here, see if we can find anything cheap, anything to get into.
I'm game, and thanks for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Well, I sure hate I missed that.
You did. You missed it completely.
I'm gonna hook up with you at one of these Hamfests sooner or later, Emile.
All right, Tommy, no doubt. And, the guys, that strategy did pay off because I did happen to get my TNC here from that vendor in the flea market, which was an awesome place. That flea market is really something else. I noticed, I think maybe, George, you might have some footage of some of that as well. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that strategy paid off. I brought home some parts over here.
Cool.
Well, actually, no, I don't have any footage of hardly anything, Emile, because of my Saturday being spent on the telephone. And I saw you walking around with the camera. Are we going to see any of that stuff in the future?
Yes, this is part of my Hamfest experience. Not only it was on a different scale, but at Huntsville, it was also out of this world.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Okay.
I am not going to be able to drink this. Thanks for the thought, Jocelyn.
Feeling kind of psychotic?
Feeling kind of psychotic, but there's no wrinkles down in my throat now. The cold cream must work. I'm going to try this other one because I got to wash that down. I don't have any Vegemite handy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should always keep some on the shelf like Peter does. He keeps it on the shelf right behind him so he can reach back there and grab it at a moment's notice.
Yep.
It's kind of transparent.
Now this tastes more like a beer.
I guess should I try this one?
If you want to.
Third Wave. I think that was a movie, wasn't it?
I don't remember
Alien
that.
movie.
Yeah, this tastes like an old school Budweiser here. Maybe
That's kind of what the other
Schlitz.
one tastes like.
Yeah.
Christian Moerlein, Third Wave. Brewed in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep. And with 5.8% alcohol, I will be able to recommend this later in the show. But this one,
Does it taste
the
like melon?
psychotherapy, huh?
Does it taste like melon?
No, not at all. It tastes like Budweiser.
This one has the slightest hint of like a apple or something. Can I smell that?
Yeah.
I can't really smell it. That one?
That one, yeah.
Keep waiting for an apple to come fly
Yeah,
across
I'm
the road and
good.
hit you in the head.
All right. Well, Peter, I think you've got a Facebook post here for us tonight, don't you?
From Greg, and Greg says, George, Tommy, Emile, Mike, Peter's Aussie, he already knows, and he does. With reference to your fine cuisine this episode, yummy, below is the Aussie version, and basically he mentions three things. The first is French fries, which you can see on the left of screen there, formerly straws. Then the second is Twisties, which one of my favourites personally, yum, which is your cheesies. And the third, and I've actually got a jar of the stuff here with me, is Aussie Mite. And he mentions that Dick Smith, who's actually the producer of Aussie Mite, just won a court case, and he reckons some overseas person tried to stop Dick from using his own brand name. Well, I'm going to have to correct that because, in fact, the other, or the competitor to both Vegemite and Aussie Mite, and the subject of that court case was a South Australian company called Aussie Mite, AUSSIEMITE. And so there was a dispute, a trademark dispute between two Australian companies. Anyway, I've tried personally the Aussie Mite, and it does actually have a slightly different flavour, in my opinion, to the Vegemite. It's just slightly more beefy, if I can put it in those terms, like a stock cube. But look, it's quite an adequate substitute, and yeah, both are quite good. So can recommend them. And thanks for the email, Greg, or rather the Facebook post.
So, Dick Smith, was that the electronics company that was over there at one point?
Yeah, and in fact, look, there's a whole saga regarding Dick Smith. Dick Smith is a famous aviator, entrepreneur. He's done a whole lot of different things in his life. Very famous Australian, and also VK2, I think DIK. He's actually an amateur radio operator. Anyway, he sold it. He started electronics. What do you call it? Chain of stores back in the 70s, and sold out to Woolworths some years later. Then eventually the Woolworths sold out that to a private equity firm that floated the company, and then sometime later the company went into liquidation. So Dick Smith is now, I think, a brand name owned by an online store. But yeah, it was. There's still, I think, no, actually it used to be, but no, unfortunately there aren't any more Dick Smith stores around. So these days we go to other stores like J-Car.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought I'd heard that name before. You'd mentioned it with electronics. And so there's a supermarket too, is that?
No. It was owned by Woolworths, which was a supermarket chain.
No. But, I mean, that made the Ozamite.
Oh, sorry.
That made the Ozamite.
Oh, it made the Ozamite. No. Ozamite, this Ozamite is actually owned by Dick Smith himself. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you take it from him? That's never mind.
No, I didn't mean that literally. It's sold, but that is sold in supermarkets.
Oh. Okay. All right.
You have to be very explicit.
Yeah. Well, Emile, you've got, you're not a Facebooker really. You're more of a Google Plus kind of guy. And I think you've got a post from over there, don't you?
I do. It is from our Google Plus community friend Matthew Lawson. And there you go. You got the picture there. He says, I had some fun testing some homebrew copper loops for 2 meters and 70 centimeters today. This was near Brennan, Washington on Mount Craig. He says they worked pretty good, and now he wants to stack them to get a little more gain. And he said he even bounced off of Mount Rainier with about 2 watts with his FT817. So I gotta say, just looking at the picture there, that the PVC is employed again, which is a cheap old man approved and pre-cheap old man Jimmy approved material there. So sounds like he's having some fun, and on the cheap fronts as well.
Well, is copper allowed in the cheap old man bylaws?
No, just the PVC. Like you said about your T1s earlier, they're stealing the copper part because of its value these days.
Anything with copper is a illegal technique.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I use pool noodles for my resonators, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll be back in just a minute because we've got a lot more to go yet.
For years, hams have relied on the world's most popular antenna analyzer, the MFJ259B. That compact battery-powered RF impedance analyzer combined 4 basic circuits: a 1.8 through 170 MHz variable frequency oscillator, a frequency counter, a 50-ohm RF bridge, and an 8-bit microcontroller. Now the MFJ259 has been updated to the new MFJ259C. All the same great functions present in the 259B with an expanded frequency range. The MFJ259C covers all frequencies from 530 kHz to 230 MHz, allowing measurements all the way from the AM broadcast band through the 220 MHz amateur band. Make a wide variety of useful antenna impedance measurements, including coaxial cable loss and distance to an open or short. Primarily designed for analyzing 50 ohm antenna and transmission line systems, the MFJ259C also measures RF impedances between a few ohms and several hundred ohms. It also functions as a signal source and a frequency counter. The MFJ259C gives you a complete picture of your antenna's performance. Read antenna SWR and complex impedance, determine velocity factor, coaxial cable loss in dB, length of coax, and distance to a short or open in feet. Read SWR, return loss, and reflection coefficient at any frequency simultaneously at a single glance. You can even read inductance and microhenries and capacitance and picofarads at RF frequencies. The large, easy-to-read two-line LCD screen and side-by-side meters clearly display all the information you need. While a lot of new antenna analyzers have appeared in the market recently, none give you the flexibility and wide assortment of RF measurement capabilities the MFJ259C does. If you've been putting off getting an antenna analyzer, then you need to take a look at the new MFJ259C. Visit mfjenterprises.com today.
What are we doing next, Tommy?
Well, I think we will look at my segment.
Okay.
I've got an interesting new toy and I want to show you.
You do, yeah, and you actually brought that toy with you.
I did, but I'll show it after the segment. I'm pretty excited about what I'm going to show you this month. I never thought that I'd take my DVMega out of my DHAP Mini Mega, but I'm going to take it out at least temporarily and put it in a new board that we've got. I've got a new one here that's the daughter board for the DVMega. Well, it's not really a daughter board, it's actually a host board, and it's called the Blue Stack Micro Plus. And what this does is our DVMega sits on top of this. This thing enables Bluetooth, and you can use an Android device to be the internet host and send commands to and from the DVMega. We had to do a little modification. This board will actually work as a serial device, so you can hook it up and use the Jonathan Naylor's software or whatever to host your DVMega. This board will also program the DVMega by having the button pushed in and enabling the serial port on it. So what we've got to do, my DVMega is one of the oldest ones, one of the originals. It needs to have the firmware flashed on it. We can get the firmware from right here on the DVMega site, and the links below. Go down to the bottom and grab the one that says, if your radio is like mine. Mine is the Raspberry Pi model, single band radio. I'll go down here and find the one that says for Raspberry Pi based. So the single and the dual band models have the same firmware. So grab the firmware. We're going to need to flash the chip. So you get the program called Xloader, and then there's a nice little manual beside here that you can look at as well. So to enable the flashing of the firmware on the chip, I had to install a jumper wire from the back of this capacitor to this second pin on the bottom row here from the right. All that information is available in the manual. It shows the diagram of how it goes. I wasn't able to get mine under my wire under the socket for the chip, so I ran mine on top. I think it'll be just fine like that. First thing we're going to need to do is mount the two boards together. Now I went ahead and took some nippers and nipped these 4 pins off right here best I could, but I'm going to take some of this blue tape and put it on top of this switch because it's a little bit too close for comfort for me. That blue painter's tape will peel off easy enough. It won't leave any residue on there. So there's a standoff that came with the board to hold it off. So I went ahead in an effort to save time and I put it through one side of it through the Blue Stack board. And let's hook the other one up. And you can see, well, I hope you can, that's pretty close right there, so I feel a little bit better having that tape on that metal shield. good to go. So since this is a little radio, I'll go ahead and put our antenna on. Never want to power it up without there being an antenna. I don't know that it would hurt it because it's such low power, but I'd rather be safe than to mess my nice DVMega board. I'd be pretty lost without that. Okay, so now that we've got all that taken care of, let's go ahead and try to burn the firmware to it. It just takes a regular micro USB cable. Now remember, I already have the switch depressed on here to enable the serial port. I plugged it up. I hear the computer recognize the serial port, and this first light immediately starts flashing. I went ahead and downloaded and unzipped those programs. There's my firmware, and here's the Xloader program to actually load it. And we'll locate our firmware. We're connected. Let's find the right COM port. This computer only has one, and this board was recognized as COM3. It defaults to the right baud rate for the device. My board requires the Uno device here. You'll have to check on yours to see which one yours requires, but as you change these, you can see the baud rate changes based on the hardware that you choose. So let's go ahead and click upload, and let's watch the lights and see what happens. Upload. It says it's uploading. I see some data going on here. You can see down here that the data was uploaded, completed. The send and receive lights on the Blue Stack board are not flashing any longer, so we can power that down. Okay, now that that's done, I had to regroup. I got rid of the computer because I think we're done with that for right now. And I went and got my portable battery because I want to be able to operate this thing remotely, so I'm going to use my battery here. Let's see if we can pair this thing up with the Android tablet. We're plugged up to the battery here, and we've got power to our device. Being careful not to sit this on anything metal because our Bluetooth antenna is right here on the bottom. This looks like a good candidate for a box made with the 3D printer, so you may see one of those coming up sometime soon. Everything's all hooked up. I'm just going to slide it out of the way. You can find Blue Spot on the Google Play Store. It's a free download. Thanks to David for creating this for us. So what we need to do now is we need to pair our board with our Android tablet. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're paired with our Blue Stack board. The password was 1234, which is like most everything, it's either 1234 or 0000. Let's run our application and see what we can find. Apparently there's been an upgrade. So if I search for PA7 LIM, that brings it up. And there's Blue DV. So let's grab that. Yes, I will accept. And we'll just open it. Now let's see if we can do something. Okay. We're going to use REF D star. We'll try 30 Charlie. First of all, we need to put our information in, don't we? We need to put our call sign in. November 5 Zulu November Oscar. Okay, I've got my call. I've got reflector 30 Charlie up here. I'm going to try to connect. It says our Bluetooth is disconnected. After you finish flashing it, be sure to push this button and make it out again to enable the Bluetooth on the device. I had a little trouble getting connected because of that. Okay, this button down here apparently connects to the Bluetooth. this connects to the reflector. So let's see what we got.
Length REF030C.
All right, we are connected. If you'll notice, I have no internet connection on this device directly. It's going through the internet on my tablet. Now that said, I can take this tablet and hook it up to the hotel Wi-Fi where you have those crazy logins where you have to put in a password or your room number and your name or whatever combination is at the hotel you're staying at. But then you can get on the internet from pretty much anywhere. The other nice thing is on my phone, I can use it to control the device, or I can use the internet for my data plan on my phone to power it. So I don't have to worry about having a monitor now to log into anything. That's a nice point. So we're going to play around with it a little bit and see how this thing works. But I'm pretty excited about being able to travel with it. Here's a hint for the DHAP guys. Says a box to fit this would be really nice. Anyway, it's another opportunity. But really like my DHAP mini mega box, and I'll still use it some. I'll put the board back in. Either that or I'll order myself another DVMega board and have one to travel and one to use here at home. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you soon. 73. So it's been a pretty cool little device, man. I went ahead and I 3D printed me a box for it.
That is nice, man.
So it's got the little holes for the antenna, the button that I showed you, and then the power. I want to have it where I can just take the antenna off, throw it in my suitcase. It's pretty nice because all you do is just plug the battery up to here and sit it down, and it gets the internet off the Bluetooth connection. So it's pretty sweet.
That's it. Is that a switch on the side?
Yeah, that's the switch to enable and disable the serial port.
Okay.
So you can hook it up to your computer with the serial and use like Jonathan Naylor's software through the serial device and use it like that as well. But I think I'm just going to use it over the Bluetooth. That's
pretty cool. That's the smallest D-Star repeater I've seen yet.
Yeah. And the box I made, it's not perfect. I tweaked it a little bit. Mine's one of the old ones that has the antenna coming out of the side, but I designed the box with a hole on the top. And if you look for my call sign on Thingiverse, by the time the show airs, I'll have it out there for you to download if you want to print your own or tweak it or whatever.
Cool. So. Very neat project. Well, while we were watching that, we got hungry, and Jocelyn had sent us something else from Cincinnati. These are Grippos. Grippos. That is how you pronounce that, I think.
Yeah.
Barbecue flavored potato chips.
They're rather warm.
1/2 pound. They're not just warm, they are downright hot.
Not that hot to me, but I can tell it's kind of burning my tongue up a little.
Well, and mine too. And then I poured this 100 proof beer on top of it, and it just kind of like cauterized it. Interesting potato chips, though. Although my tongue is on fire, I find myself wanting to eat another one. I'm not sure what that's about.
They got a different taste, but they're pretty good. They're just kind of hot.
Yep. Well, Emile, you got a video here too, and I'm not sure how to take this one. Do you want to set it up?
Well, lately, George and Tom have been having a lot of experiences that have been out of this world at the Ham Fest in Huntsville, and just comparing some things I've found out through the episodes, and I guess it's really leading to this segment.
Uh-oh.
And that's what they're saying over in the chat room there. I think everybody got this one. So, yep, CW.
Awesome.
Okay.
The replacement specimens seem to have an uncanny ability to walk for long periods of times at a hamfest, I've noticed.
Guys, it's not too late. We can get him back. Y'all have to help me. Who's that?
Are you the real George?
Uh-oh. Where's Emile? Yeah, I think it's the real me, but after eating these Grippos here, I'm not completely sure.
Well, if you finish drinking that, you probably won't be able to prove it either.
Yeah, true. Well, it looks like we lost Emile on that one. Not sure where Emile went.
I guess he must have got taken as well.
Yeah. Tell you what, let's get a message from ICOM. We'll come back and maybe we need to send out the Cajun Navy to look for him.
September is National Preparedness Month. Set some time aside and review your emergency communications plan for air, land, or sea. Make sure your ICOM equipment is ready to go for any situation. ID 5100A has taken innovation and mobility to the next level. With its touchscreen and internal GPS, this radio is a must-have while assessing a situation. The large 5.5-inch display responds naturally to the touch. DV Dual Watch receives both FM-FM and FM-DB mode signals simultaneously. Show your position, course, and speed with the integrated GPS receiver, and the optional VS3 Bluetooth headset provides hands-free communication. Connect your Android to ICOM's most popular dual-band transceiver, the ID51A+. Filled with enhanced functions and digital features, you won't want to be without this handheld communication solution. Send and receive text messages and photos. Transfer data 3.5 times faster with DV Fast Data Mode. Communicate with the touch of your fingertips. Perfect for small spaces, the IC-7100 is the ideal D-Star option for wherever you may be. Angled control head and touchscreen for quick intuitive operation, large internal speaker for clear digital audio, and it's perfect for multiband and all-mode communications. Get more information on all the great ICOM radios at icomamerica.com/amateur.
Okay.
Which Emile are you?
I'm not exactly sure.
From
one of
Emile
these thingy
2.0?
verses.
Could be a clone.
A clone. I do see something here in the picture. We need to keep an eye on that.
Oh yeah, it was
See
my
what I'm
rope.
talking about?
My G5RV rope.
Oh, by the way, speaking of conspiracy theories, did you guys see the latest launch of SpaceX that actually blew up on the pad?
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a whole lot of conspiracy theories surrounding that. Most of them, all of them nonsense. But most unfortunate for Elon Musk though that the was it a Falcon 9 blew up on the pad. And they can't. At least they haven't said why it occurred as yet.
Yeah. That was a shame.
You know, George and Tommy, I can honestly say this time I had nothing to do with it, unlike the Super Bowl.
Well, I said earlier the show is going to be out of this world, and I think you started something there.
You got to be careful with those Super Bowl comments because the statute of limitations hadn't passed on that yet.
I just couldn't help myself with that one, George, just because of the that little footage when you were panning the camera up the wire. I saw that it had to be an airplane, at least as far as I know.
Yeah.
But, you know, the way it just crossed the path of that was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It's over
Who knows?
flight path. So.
We'll never know.
Nope. Or will we?
I'll never tell.
Yeah. Well, you don't see it on the Google Plus group or Google Plus community that much because this particular group of guys I'm thinking about here don't post on there. They generally post on the Facebook group. And there's been a lot going on in there with these Pico balloons.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the little Mylar party balloons?
Those things are pretty awesome.
Well, I ran into one of those guys while I was in Huntsville, Bill Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And he had one with him that he had just built. And
oh, very cool. I'm fascinated by those things.
We got a chance to talk about it.
Cool.
Well, I've got Bill Brown, WB8ELK here, who is big into the Pico balloons and all that sort of thing. I see you posting stuff all the time. Bill, tell me, what have you got here at Huntsville?
Well, we've been flying high-altitude balloons for many, many years. In fact, the sky is not the limit as far as amateur radio goes, because we send them up into the stratosphere, 100,000 feet or more. But lately I've been flying, those are usually 6-pound or under payloads. I've developed an APRS transmitter that's totally solar powered, that is small enough to fly on one of those foil happy birthday balloons. And so this is it. I call it the Sky Tracker. It weighs approximately 11 grams.
And that's a super thin
I buy
there,
that from the board itself. I designed it in Eagle, and I hand soldered it all with a magnifying glass. My old tired eyes need a big magnifying glass nowadays. But
tell me about what you've got on here.
I've got a GPS receiver. It's made by U-Blocks. That little white thing above the GPS receiver is actually a GPS antenna. And then I've got a Atmel 328 processor, the same as they use in the Arduino development systems. In fact, I use the Arduino development system to program this. And then I have a little DAC chip that produces the tones for APRS, 1200 baud tones at a 1200 baud rate. And then I have a synthesizer that produces a whopping 20 milliwatts of RF power on 2-meter band on APRS frequency. And it's at frequency agile, so if it flies far enough to go to Europe, it'll switch to the European APRS frequency. If it goes to China, it'll go to the Chinese frequency, and the same for Japan. So it's all frequency agile.
Where's your battery pack?
There is no battery pack. This is totally solar powered. I have 2 thin film power solar cells to run this. Looks like a little mini weather satellite, actually. And I'm using guitar string for the antennas, for the dipole antennas, the vertical dipole. And believe it or not, even though I'm competing with 50-watt APRS stations that are beaconing constantly in some major cities, 20 milliwatts is all you need because it's a very short burst. And somebody at an altitude of where this flies, this particular one will fly around 30,000 feet. At that altitude, somebody somewhere is going to have a ground station that picks up the signal. I've designed this to be about 11 grams, which is light enough to fly on a party balloon, one of those big 36-inch Happy Birthday Mylar. I use a silver one because it's a little bit better for solar reflectivity. And how far do you think a party balloon would fly if you just let one go?
You know, that is a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that. I know the balloons that they fly around my area are much, much bigger than that, and they only get a few hours out of them. What can you get out of a party balloon?
One of the first flights I've done, launched from my backyard in Huntsville, Alabama. flew for 6 days, crossed the Atlantic in 32 hours, and ended up in Sweden.
Wow.
And it was all tracked by APRS stations. In fact, a Swedish ham magazine did a little story on it because they noticed it pop up in near Stockholm. And then I flew another one that went to Morocco and made it as far as the Middle East. And several other people are flying different designs like this. There's probably a dozen of us around the world that are designing micro trackers like this. And some have actually gone around the world.
So I guess it's primarily going to be operating during the day since it's solar powered.
It only is daytime only. But that, by eliminating the batteries, you really save on the weight. Although I do have a small LiPo battery that I can put on there. It weighs about 4 grams. It'll fly at a much lower altitude, but it'll work for a few hours at night after sunset.
And you're talking, just so we got scale in mind here, you're just talking about one of these kind of flat pillow shaped.
Yeah, a flat pillow shaped party balloon that cost about $3 and about a cubic foot of helium. Just one of those little party balloon tanks that you can buy at the stores at Dollar General or Walmart. They're about $25 for one of those tanks. We'll fly 2 or 3 of these missions. So, but I call this the Sky Tracker, and it'll also do HF. I can do whisper with this mode. And all I have to do is change the programming on the synthesizer and the output filter, and I can run 20 meter whisper, 20 milliwatts. And I've flown this on a balloon as well, and you can get tracking clear across the ocean in real time. And it was actually heard on the other side of the world in Perth, Australia during one of the flights on 20 milliwatts. But it's amazing what you can do with super QRP, QRPP. I call it QRPPP.
That is super low power and super lightweight.
Yeah.
So what do you think it cost you to put one of these rigs together and to fly it, the whole expense?
The biggest cost, of course, is in the board and the components. It's over $100 for this part. But the big savings, when you do a regular latex high-altitude balloon flight, you're paying about $120 for a large weather balloon.
Yeah.
But you get your payloads back. In this case, our balloon weighs $3. So you're saving on the cost of the balloon itself, but you may not get this back if it ends up in Sweden or some other part of the world or the ocean. So I've lost quite a number of them in the ocean.
Well, Bill, that's amazing. How often do you do this?
Probably about a couple times a month.
Oh, that often?
Mm-hmm. And I've been doing a lot of test flights of the new and refining my design.
So I know other people are going to want to track this when you launch one. Where can they go to get the information and know when the launches are going to be and what frequencies and modes to use?
An announcement page called arhab.org, arhab.org, and that's where a lot of people post their flights when they go up. And my website is wb8elk.com. And I can post some information there as well. But if you go to the regular APRS tracking sites like aprs.fi and you enter WB8ELK dash whatever number, you can do an asterisk and see what flights are current. This one's going to be -3 when it goes up sometime this week. I was going to fly it today at the Huntsville Ham Fest, but we have a lot of liquid sunshine today, and it doesn't take much to negate the 3 grams of lift, because that's all I have on this is about 3 grams of lift. So once the balloon gets wet, it's going to come down. We had a flight about 2 weeks ago where it was going through clouds and it would go up and down in altitude. It was bobbing up and down like this. But it finally did achieve its float altitude and headed out to the Atlantic.
Wow. So if you launch one of those party balloons, it's no telling where it may end up eventually.
Well, we had one go west. This time of year, the jet stream can loop around, and we had one go from, I launched one from Texas, and it went clear to California.
Wow.
It was last heard over Baja, California.
Well, Bill, I appreciate you showing this to us. It's really amazing that you can take something this small, this lightweight, design it all yourself, build it yourself. It's got GPS, all these other modes of data and tracking on it. Doesn't take a battery, and you're going to fly it on just a little Mylar party balloon.
And they'll stay up for a week or more.
Wow. All right. Thanks, Bill.
Been a pleasure. Thank you.
That's some pretty awesome stuff.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It is. I saw on Facebook, I think it's another guy that actually posted it, but I think they work on these together. And I wish I'm just drawing a blank. I know
it's
his name.
Alan, and I can't pronounce his last
But
name.
anyway, they heard their own after it went all the way around the world, and it came back across, and they actually heard it on those after it had circled the Earth one time. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty amazing. Peter, I know you were talking about some ballooning at one point. Did you ever make any headway on that?
I'm still working on it. It's sort of a little project I've had on the side. I've run into a few difficulties though, in that first of all, to make something go around the world, you really need to use Whisper mode, and so there's a few programming challenges with that, which I've overcome. The other thing is just getting it under 50 grams. Myself has actually been quite difficult, and I'm just staggered that Bill was able to get it down to 11. So I might have a word with Bill and see if I can get a off-the-shelf product from him, and I might go and fly one of his.
Yeah, he mentioned a website on there that you could.
I think it was WB8ELK.com. I think.
Yeah.
And then there's another one prior.
Yeah, but I don't know that you'll see him for sale there. But I think he maybe does sell a few of them, or would hook you up.
Wouldn't hurt to ask, I guess.
It's an incredibly thin little PC board, though.
It looks like a really nice design.
Yeah.
It's good. Most of the time, just to give you an idea, the little GPS alone, right, the ones I've been using weigh more than 11 grams. So, that's just the GPS. And then you've got things like if you're using a lithium-ion battery, well, that can easily be another 10 grams. But he's gone the solar route, which is not bad. The only downside with his setup will be that it'll only transmit at night. But if you just want to track a balloon over a very long period of time, that's actually quite good.
Yeah, it'll only transmit it during the day. But
during the day. Yeah. My apologies.
I think he's been playing with some supercapacitors though that would give him a little bit of dark time usage with it. But what did he say? 3 grams of lift?
Yeah.
On the balloon.
That's not much at all.
No, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate.
I should point out something about balloons, by the way. You can't fill them right up. You only have to fill them, say, half, because as they rise up through the atmosphere, they expand. So if you fill them up too much, they'll explode.
Let's talk about our giveaway, Tommy. We mentioned it earlier in the show. I know some people have already registered. Well, a lot of people have registered, but there's going to be more who want to get in on this.
Yeah, if you haven't, pay attention here and get in on it.
Yep, here's where you need to go right here. It's AmateurLogic.TV/contest. You get all the official rules, regulations, and details about what we've got here. Let's talk about the prizes first. We've got the Icom IC-7300 software-defined HF radio.
Yep, beautiful rig. Color touchscreen.
Super nice. This is one of the exact ones that we used at Field Day this year.
Yeah.
And outstanding performer. I can't say enough good stuff about this type of display here, where you've got the band scope on there, and this one is a real-time band scope. I mean, you're seeing those signals in real time. There are some other radios out there that have a band scope on it, but that's not true. I mean, you're not seeing all those frequencies in real time on some of them. This one you do. It's a good, they call it an entry-level radio. To me, it's more than entry-level. I mean,
I would think so.
It's pretty nice.
USB port on it, so if you want to do digital modes, you don't need any kind of sound device, or
Yep.
you just plug it in with the USB cable, load the software into your computer, and you're ready to go.
Good to go.
Great rig. We've had a lot of fun with them, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunate for one of you. Somebody's going to win this one right
Yeah,
here.
unfortunately, we got to give this one up.
Yep. We got some other stuff though that's got to go with it. If you're going to have a radio, you're probably going to need a power supply. And tell us about that one there, Tom.
Yeah, this is the MFJ. I can't see the model number. I believe this is a 30 amp switching power supply. It's got the meter on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice little compact supply. Very small. As a matter of fact, if one of mine dies, this is probably what I'm going to be. Actually, it is what I'm going to be replacing it with.
I'm actually using one of these right now, and I've been real pleased with it. I've been using over a year, probably a couple of years, and I take one just exactly like that to field day every year too.
So one of my power supplies is about twice the size of this rig.
No, man.
One of my old 20 amp Astrons.
Really?
It's huge like that. It's got the meters on the front of it.
Yeah.
And it's only 20 amp. Of course, I've got the that other one like you've got over there that's about maybe 3 times the size of the small.
Switching. Yeah. But nice, very nice compact power supply. You've got an antenna there too, don't you?
I do. I've got a MFJ. I believe this is 40 meter off-center fed dipole. I believe it covers 6, 10, 20, and 40
meters.
Yeah. I believe that's it. And actually, I'm using one like this at home. Been real happy with it.
And you might be able to actually, since the radio's got a built-in auto tuner, you might can tune, some of the other bands in between there as well with it.
Yeah. I've done that too on a few of them. I don't remember exactly which ones, but you can.
And of course, we like the off-center fed dipole antennas because they're so convenient. Maybe they don't perform as good as if you had 5 different dipoles hung out there, but most of us don't have room for that.
If you live on a city lot like we do, it's really an ideal solution. I'm very happy with it. Like I say, as a matter of fact, I've got pretty much this antenna.
Yeah.
And it's done really well for me.
Yeah. Multiple bands on a single antenna.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to have to hook that to the radio. So we've got 100 feet of RG8X here, also courtesy MFJ. It already comes with the coax connectors installed here, but and these will work fine, but just to kind of sweeten the pot here, Tommy, what have we got there?
We got 2 from the George and Tommy private collection, the gold
mother load,
gold PL259s, and you all know you want these.
I don't know I'd put them on my coax, but they're a collector's item.
But you can just set them up there and even look at them.
Yep. Shiny.
They are shiny. It's just bling. Bling. Just sit it around wherever you want to dress something up.
Are those Tommy signed nose ring editions?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've only wore them twice.
Well, let's go over the qualifications and how you enter real quick. First, you have to be a licensed U.S. or Canadian amateur radio operator with a U.S. or Canadian shipping address.
Only 1 entry per contestant. Sending more than 1 entry disqualifies the applicant.
And the winner is responsible for any taxes that may be incurred.
The winner agrees to the use of his or her call sign and name in promotional and news items related to the contest.
And contestants must not be an employee or affiliate of AmateurLogic, ICOM, or MFJ Enterprises.
Hey George, how do I enter?
How do you enter? Well, you send an email to contest2016@AmateurLogic.TV with only your call sign in the subject line. Include your name, call sign, class of license, and address in the email message body, and only enter 1 time. Very important.
Very, very important.
Yep. If you enter more than once, you'll be disqualified. How long do they have, Tommy?
Well, submissions must be made between Thursday, August the 25th, and Thursday, October the 11th of 2016.
So that means you've got just about a month left from the date that we're shooting this.
Yep.
How we're going to select a winner? Well, it's going to be with a random number drawing. Each entry gets a number generated whenever it's entered. We'll do a drawing among that pool of numbers, and the winner will be announced on the October 15th episode of AmateurLogic.TV. If we determine that the winning entry doesn't meet the qualification requirements, another winner will be chosen by the same method. And where can they get the contest rules and regulations, Tommy?
You can get them at www.AmateurLogic.TV/contest.
And one other thing you said was important last time we talked about it.
Void where prohibited.
We're not sure.
Wherever that may be.
Yeah.
If there's any place. But if it is, void.
It's void. Yep.
Null and void.
Somebody's gonna get a great setup here. You know, we've been fortunate that ICOM has gone with us every year to put this contest together for the last few years.
Yeah, and MFJ.
And MFJ. So, this one's, hey, this is going to really be sweet here.
Yeah, it's a nice rig. I've got one at the house I've been playing with. I love that thing. It's really nice. The DSP on it is really awesome for a rig of that price.
Mm-hmm.
It's really amazing.
Well, you know, I use an IC-7700 as my HF base rig. It's about twice the size of that radio.
Mm-hmm.
But this one sounds very similar and operates very, very similar to it. So I was right at home with it during field day.
Cool.
Well, let's see. We got a couple of more emails to go here.
Emails or Emiles?
No, he didn't read an email this time. Email didn't read an email.
Okay.
He read a Google Plus.
I'll do one for you. One email for you, Emile. This is actually from my buddy that supplied us with the brewskis and the chipskis.
Oh yeah, the brewskis and the chipskis. Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. I knew his name. I just can't remember the call. KD8VRX. Otherwise known, AKA Chris's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Supplier of Grippo's barbecue potato chips.
And fine brewskis. Okay, he says, hi guys, I wanted to share our field day Pi server setup with you guys in the audience if you feel so inclined. First, why not even come up with the idea? Our club, WC8VOA, that's actually from the Voice of America site we did the special on, runs the N3 FJP field day logging software in network mode. Lots of members bring their own computers and laptops, and some don't stay the whole event, so making one of the stations a server didn't make sense. We thought of using desktop, but why not use something small, lightweight, low power consumption, and cheap? That's got your name on it, Emile. The N3 FJP software requires a shared folder to store the database log. That's perfect for the Raspberry Pi. And he sent a nice picture there about it. And he goes into a lot of details about some of the things he's using, 8 gig card, USB micro, USB cable, and so forth. But anyway, it's pretty simple, nice little setup. And anyway, he says, I wanted to share my success with everyone at AmateurLogic.TV. And I think he sent that because we talked about the problems we had with our logging this time.
Yeah.
And I mentioned possibly writing something to run on the Pi and make it a little server like that. But he sent this information. So sometime between now and next field day, I need to try to investigate that. Maybe we can get it set up somewhere.
That would be cool.
It'd be writing it.
It would be.
Yeah. So anyway, appreciate that, Jocelyn. And appreciate these too.
Oh yeah.
The invisible beers.
And this, although my tongue is on fire right now.
I think Cincinnati's the only place you can get beer like that that's that transparent.
Yeah. And potato chips that are deceptively hot.
Deceptive.
Yeah, they're really hot. Well, I got one more email here, Tommy, and this one comes from Tom. You remember our buddy Tom, don't you?
I do remember Tom.
Tom was
out of this world.
Yeah.
The sharpest dressed guy at the Alien Jerky store.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
He said, hi guys, I was tied up last weekend and couldn't watch the live stream. Just watched the episode. Thanks a lot for featuring my pictures. That was great. I'm glad you enjoyed them. I hope they inspire more people to send in pictures of them wearing their shirts, and I hope it does too.
Yeah, me too.
George, you did pretty good on pronouncing my last name. And yeah, I remember I was
unsure about how to pronounce that. A lot of people have trouble with it. It's actually pretty easy. It's AmateurLogic. I think that's that's what he said, isn't it?
Yeah, AmateurLogic.
Okay.
AmateurLogic.
So thanks for that, Tom. There was one problem, though. He says now his wife has started calling him Tim because that's what George was calling him toward the end of the episode. And I guess 3 letters and it started with a T.
Yeah.
You know.
You're part of the way there.
Yep.
Really do appreciate you sending the pictures. They were pretty awesome.
Yeah, great show as always. The Northern Cuisine sampling was a lot of fun. Tom, WA2IVD. Tom, thanks again for those pictures. They were great.
Yeah.
You know, they were just set up with the type of nonsense that our audience really goes for.
Oh, yeah. The pictures and the write-ups were just perfect, right on target.
Yep.
So
Well-
anyway, if you're wearing your AmateurLogic swag around, take a selfie of yourself and shoot it to us, and good chance you'll make it on the show.
Yep. Tommy and I are taking some right now. Aren't you, Tommy?
I am.
I know I am.
Twice a month.
Yep. Oh, Peter is too?
Peter? Yeah, Peter.
Oh, no, Bill, that's...
Emile?
Get a Sharpie.
That's the cheap old man AmateurLogic shirt.
I'm so cheap I won't even buy swag.
Where can you get one of those if you want one, Tommy?
You can get one at AmateurLogic.spreadshirt.com. We've got AmateurLogic and Ham College shirts on there.
Both of them.
Yep.
And multiple colors.
Both types of shirts.
Yep. And in different sizes, too.
Yeah, different sizes and colors.
Thanks for being here, everyone. 7-3, and we'll see you again next month.
73, everybody.
73.
73s.
What did I just do to the air conditioner?
It won't turn off.
No. I hit a button. I thought it said mute, but it says mode.
Oh, you didn't mute the air conditioner?
No, it didn't mute it.